A chance to see my sit-down interview with Alexis Brudnicki of Baseball America. She has some great stories. I really enjoyed talking to her. So don't forget to tune in for that. So I guess we'll just get started. So once again, thanks for joining me. I think this would be really cool for the viewers. We're trying to get more female viewers, female voices, because there's quite a good female viewership on the show, 30%. So I think this would be really good for them to hear. Why do you think that the IOC is kind of hesitant to put baseball in the Olympics? Because we see other sports that don't appear to be at least more popular that are in the Olympics every year.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think baseball is a tough sell when it is in the middle of the season. All of the players who are the best players for their countries are essentially playing minor league or major league baseball. And it is tough for their teams to want to let them go. It is tough for them to sacrifice whatever they may need to sacrifice in order to leave their team or leave their organization. It is just a really tough sell, and I don't think Major League Baseball is ever going to kind of put a pause on the season to let guys play. So in Japan this year, in the league, the baseball league in Japan, they are pausing their season and they are letting their players play for their country. But I think it is just a different viewpoint, and I'm just not sure it'll ever get there the way that kind of hockey is, or anything that might be comparable is there.
Right. And with the NBA, their season never happens. So for them, it doesn't matter either, right? They don't never have to worry about that. So that makes it easy for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you think about, obviously, the basketball, Team USA Dream Team got a lot more hype after Michael Jordan's documentary, The Last Dance. And I think it kind of got people pumped for the best players playing in the Olympics and what they could do when they're together on one team. So, I mean, I think a lot of people would love to see it. I don't know exactly what all the difficulties are, but I mean, it would be great. And I mean, MLB does have the answer of the World Baseball Classic, but I mean, the Olympics are a whole different beast.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. So speaking of the Olympics and the American team winning the qualifying tournament and moving on to automatically in the Olympics, just kind of what can Canadians expect for them? Are they the favorite to win more so than these Latin American countries, or what would you say? I know you follow that.
I would say it's going to be, I would say it's going to be hard to beat Japan. Japan is going to have all of its top players. It is putting a pause on its season. It is the host country. They are going to have the fans. They are going to have everything in their favor. And Japan has always been an incredible baseball country. They are just unbelievably dedicated to their craft. And I think Japan is going to be really hard to beat. Mexico came out really strong in the Premier 12, which they qualified out of. Korea is also playing in the Olympics, Team Israel, Team USA, and then another team to be determined from that last chance qualifier. But I think, personally, I think Japan is probably going to be the team to beat.
Don't go anywhere. More with Alexis when we return.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
Why do you think that women's baseball is not in the Olympics? And do you think that this kind of supports the notion of, like a lot of people only think that women should play softball? Do you think this kind of supports that sexist idea?
Yeah, it's tough because I do think softball deserves to be there, but I think women's baseball also deserves to be there, and maybe men's softball as well. When Toronto hosted the Pan Am Games in 2015, we got a chance to see men's baseball, women's baseball, men's softball, women's softball. But I think for organizations like the IOC, I mean, even the WBSC, kind of the answer to having equality for men's baseball has always been women's softball. It's just kind of the default, even though women want to play baseball too. There's just that default answer like, oh, well, here's equality and this is what it looks like. And it's women's softball. So it is tough. The women's team also, the Canadian women's national team also doesn't have the same opportunities or the same money behind them or the same kind of chances to get together, which makes it really difficult to remain competitive. And the team is very competitive. The team is consistently ranked among the top teams in the world. But all of the teams really kind of have that battle. All of the women playing women's baseball in Canada, in the US, in Australia, in Mexico, I think most places outside of Japan, the women have full-time jobs. They are surgeons, teachers, doctors, police officers, and they're just doing this to try and, keep the dream alive. And for them, the Pan Am Games in 2015 was the first opportunity ever to even be at a multi-sport event. So that was kind of not even a thought. And then obviously the Olympics were just like way out of anybody's mind. And I know that the women just truly appreciated what it was like to be in an athlete's village, to be around these other Canadian athletes, to get a chance to be outfitted by Team Canada, to have kind of the opportunities that they have that they never really get. And so, I mean, they didn't get a chance to even return to the next Pan Am Games in 2019. The women's baseball just wasn't a part of it because Peru didn't have a women's baseball team. So, I mean, it's always been kind of a tough slog for women's baseball and for people who are looking for those opportunities. And I think that women's softball has always just been an easy answer when people are saying, you need equity here, you need equality here. And people are saying, well, the answer to men's baseball is women's softball. I think it's just always been the easy answer, and people don't often try to dig deeper than that.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the pre-show today. Once again, my name is Rachel Bishop, the Rod Pedersen Show intern here. And be sure to keep your dial on Game Plus or wherever you're watching, because Rod and Darren are coming up.
We do have breaking news today, and you're the guy that's behind this. Over to you, Moose.
We're going to Montreal.
Ta-da!
How about that? We are taking our show on the road. Thursday and Friday, we'll be on the air from the Stanley Cup Finals. How cool is that?
Yes, live Thursday, Friday from Montreal, downtown Montreal, in advance of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. We will be there live.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Batten down the hatches and away we go with another edition of the Rod Pedersen Show. I'm Kelly Rempel. Peter Labardius will be my co-host again today. We tore it up Wednesday, folks. We really did. What a great show we had. So much fun. And, people loved it so much. We got off the air and I said, Peter, what are you doing Monday? I know we're taking unfair advantage of your generous offer to ask you to come back?
I don't really think it's too unfair, but I was more than delighted to have an opportunity to come back today.
Well, it was amazing. I had such a great time. I thought, why would I look for another co-host for Monday when Lou, if Lou's willing to come back? So we got him back here today, riding shotgun, of course, RP and DD. The impeccable Rod Pedersen and the immortal Darren DuPont. Two full-blown degenerates are still enjoying themselves.
How about that? That's right.
That's right. The sound guy. Say that again.
How about that?
See?
Good. I like that.
They're in Montreal, Quebec. Who knows if we're going to have a Game 5. I know what I think is going to happen tonight. We'll get to that a little bit later. But the Montreal Canadiens fighting off elimination. There is definite concern of being swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning, they've been all over the Montreal Canadiens. The interesting part, though, Lou, is really the Montreal Canadiens have not been that bad in the series. But interestingly enough, the one thing that we've come to expect from Montreal is great goaltending from Carey Price. And with all due respect, Lou, it just hasn't been there in this series. And I'm kind of stunned, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am too. It's probably the first time in an incredibly important situation that Carey has not looked like himself. He's given up a number of suspect goals. He has been outplayed. I think that's fair to say by, the gentleman who might now have really, truly solidified himself as the number one goaltender in the game in Andrei Vasilevsky. But no, I didn't expect that. You wonder a little bit, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him. You wonder, he was hurt a lot during the season. Maybe that is, come back a little bit. But Kel, in sports, here's a gentleman who has always been at his best, whether it was World Junior at 19, helping Hamilton win a Calder Cup. We know what he's done internationally at the Olympic Games. Certainly he was stellar in 2014 in Sochi, and he's been one of the game's best. And in a one-game showdown, I still, would want to go to Carey Price. But, he's made some very uncharacteristic mistakes. One thing he doesn't get enough credit for is just how well he handles the puck, his hockey IQ, the way he directs the game. And the moment has at times looked like it's gotten to him a little bit. And I guess my final thought going into Game 4 tonight, we can obviously have plenty of time and we'll, get together with the fellas who are right there where it is absolutely everything in Montreal later in the program. But when this series comes to an end, I'm not going to forget about Game 2. Because I clearly thought the Montreal Canadiens were the better team.
They were the better team.
The wide advantage in shots and, made a couple of really key mistakes where they did not manage the game really well. And, you and I talk about this. I talk about this constantly, almost ad nauseum on Calgary radio. But the one thing in big games that for me never goes away is this. And, that second period of Game 2 when, they had a huge edge, scoring chances, all of it, you need to be better and take advantage when you're clearly the better team. And in that second period, Montreal's best of this series, in my opinion, they were outscored. And you give up that goal to Blake Coleman, incredible, effort diving through the air with just under 2 seconds left to give Tampa the lead. That's the period where Montreal just didn't get enough out of great play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, hey, we're just getting warmed up here. And speaking of being warmed up, the warm-up here is presented by Ecol Electric, Lou. As they like to say, as the union bosses like to say, let's get to work.
Yeah, let's get to work.
That's what they say at Equal Electric. You and I have never been afraid to roll up our sleeves and get to work. And that's what they're doing at Equal Electric every day. And we're looking forward to that. We're just getting warmed up here, folks. As Peter alluded to, in hour 2, we do have Rod and Darren. They're going to be joining us from Montreal. I'm really looking forward in about 14, 15 minutes from now. Former first base coach. Well, his resume is very long. We're going to get to that. But Tim Leiper, former first base coach of the Toronto Blue Jays, is going to be joining us. I said to producer Clark, I said, listen, I don't really care. I'm happy to co-host these two shows on Wednesday and Monday. And again, Lou, thanks for joining me for both. All I ask is that we have one segment for the Toronto Blue Jays because I am invested like you wouldn't believe this year. And so who does he go out and get? He gets former first base coach Tim Leiper, a friend of the show. I couldn't be more fired up about that. And I know that you're going to have some questions for Tim as well. That's coming up, again, right after the break. But in hour 2, we are going out to Rod Pedersen and Darren DuPont, who are absorbed in the atmosphere in Montreal. Although, Peter, and I'll talk to those guys about this, I was really hoping that the Habs would win Game 3. I don't really have a lot of skin in this game. I'm not a huge fan of either team. I'm a huge fan of Joel Edmondson. I'm a huge fan of Braden Point. Montreal and Tampa Bay, former Moose Jaw Warrior alumni. So I have that skin in the game, I guess. I like both of those two guys, but doesn't really matter to me who wins or loses. There's part of me, sure, I would like to see a Canadian team win. It's been so long. I just can't help but think that the atmosphere that they would have enjoyed over the weekend would have been a little bit more interesting and exciting if Montreal somehow would have found a way to have won in Game 3. But getting back to what you were talking about a few minutes ago, you talked about Game 2. I want to talk a little bit, Lou, about Game 3. So there's 3,500, 4,000, whatever there is in there, and it probably sounds like 15,000. And within a couple minutes of the game, you're down 2. Like it was like, you know, you just never know if you get that first goal and you get things going and people are getting excited, but it just felt like they were never in it. Sadly.
Well, the people were clearly ready. And I also thought, in that game, it just shows you, what a machine Tampa is, because, they were completely prepared for what they were going to deal with early. And I thought the Canadians early in Game 3 looked a little nervous. And you can understand that. And that's where experience makes a big difference. And, Wayne Gretzky had a quote that I heard on a media source, and I couldn't agree more about, there's the regular season, there's the playoffs, and there's the Stanley Cup final. It's like other events, Kel, the Memorial Cup, there's a round robin, there's a playoff game, but then there's Championship Sunday. So those are all different. And I truly believe that, it escalates and it asks for more. And, Tampa was very prepared. They jumped out. Montreal, I thought, took a little while to get to their game. The building was crazy. And by the way, at least from listening and watching, I'm not so sure that they were counting very well in Montreal. It looked like a heck of a lot more than 3,500 people to me. But, and then you get it to 2-1 on the goal by Philip Deneau, his first of the playoffs. Cole Caulfield, who, what an amazing year that young American has had. He rings one off the bar. If you get to 2-2 going in, it's different. And then you give up early goals again. The one thing about, this sport and many sports is I can't tell you, being around it for a lifetime, it so takes a toll, as I think everybody knows, when you're constantly chasing the game up the hill, whether it's in a series, in a game, in a period. And, Montreal just could never get back. And they're also the kind of team, and it's a reason they're playing for the whole ball of wax, as we like to talk about, is because when they get a lead and they can dictate and they can make it so miserable on you to come through the middle of the ice, you know, they're no fun to play against. Trust me. Saw a lot of it this year with my own two eyes when they have the lead and can squeeze you. Well, you know, Tampa just really hasn't allowed that to happen in this series.
Well, and I think, Peter, you know, former Edmonton Oiler and Regina Pat head coach Pat Conacher one time, I heard him doing an interview, and he just said, catch-up hockey is losing hockey. The percentages of the percentages of winning when you're constantly coming from behind all the time, it's exhausting. And forget about the shot clock. None of that matters. What matters is the quality of the chances. Now they're talking about that home plate stat, but it really does speak to the game. And before we go to break, Lou, I just want to throw this at you as food for thought. I think that when you have a team, call it catching lightning in a bottle, call it whatever you want. We've seen it many, many, many times over the years. That team that nobody expects to win, nobody expected them to beat Toronto.
No.
I don't think even that many people, well, I don't know. Winnipeg, maybe not quite so much, but certainly
not
Vegas.
The way they did.
No, dominating them. And then you go and people say, well, you know, but they came out of Canada. Well, the Canadian division, the North Division is the weak link in all of this. They have no chance of beating Las Vegas, but they did. But at some point, if that coach turns into a pumpkin, just like teams that are favorites don't always deal with when things aren't supposed to go that way, when that team that is fed off of that momentum, but when it finally feels like it's coming to an end, it feels like it just tears your heart out. And I really get the feeling by watching the games and watching the body language on that bench and just seeing the way things are unfolding, this one's going to be really difficult for the Montreal Canadiens to come back from, I think.
Oh, listen, you think about the quality of their opponent, their experience, all that they've been through. And that's not just about when you speak of Tampa winning last year. Kelly, they are the best franchise over the last 6-7 years, period. Because to me, a true elite team, all they do every year is get to the Final Four, it seems, outside of, you know, we know what happened, the 60-win season, and, you know, Columbus upset them. And that was another one of those situations. They had a 3-0 lead that year in game number 1, lost it, and never recovered from it. You know, but this is a team that year in and year out, they knocked on the door for a while. They finally kicked it in, and they have great players and great experience. They've seen and gone through it all. And, you know, I think we're really seeing a lot of that in this series. And certainly, you know, it's not been easy for them to get back here. The Islanders gave them everything. You know, the road to this point is so difficult. And I guess my last comment, because I know we're getting up against it, is there's something to be said sometimes for the journey and getting there, but then there's that last step that is so difficult.
It is, especially in a situation like this, because right or wrong, if the Tampa Bay Lightning were trailing 3-0, there would still be part of me that would not want to rule them out.
Me too.
But I don't feel that way now with the shoe being on the other foot, because I just think that the experience and the fact that, you know, let's call it what it is, Lou, you know, they're just a better hockey team. And
yeah, they're better.
As you said, the Canadiens, when you play a better game than your opponent and you still can't win, that is a problem. And they had that opportunity in Game 2, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Clark, do you want me to keep rolling here for 2 more minutes, or can we can go to break? Okay, well, let's do that. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back with former Blue Jays first base coach Tim Leiper. Right after the break, come back. I'm Kelly. He's Lou. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. Whatever you do, don't go away, folks.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Capital is Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalgmc.ca to see how we roll and to learn what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's exactly what you'll get when you choose Capital GMC, Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio.
I've made it, folks. I got my own caricature and promo. I've been waiting years. I had to pay dues, though. As Lou would say, my good co-host today, you gotta pay dues. Lynch, he got a caricature, he got a promo. DuPont, well-deserved. Of course, Rod. But I think I might be the only other one to get one. And it's a... Oh, yeah, well, there you go. My own promo. If I never did another show, exactly, if I never did another show, I can say I got my own promo. So I'm feeling really good about it. I could get up and walk out right now, but I won't do that. You know why? Because I'm probably about as excited about our next guest as I've been in a long, long time. I'm a huge Toronto Blue Jays fan, and joining us now in beautiful Ontario, I believe he's at his resort or his cabin, is former first base coach of the Toronto Blue Jays. Tim Leiper joins us. Tim, I told Clark I don't mind filling in for Rod and doing the next couple of shows with Peter Labardius, but you got to give me some Blue Jays, and he gave me the best one possible. So I feel like I've died and gone to heaven, Tim.
Well, that's a good intro. I hope I can live up to that billing right there. And if you've looked excited at this, you must be guys having a slow time right now.
No, not at all. In fact, we're going to get to the Toronto Blue Jays current soon enough. But I just want to say, Tim, that for those more, I guess, maybe casual fans that aren't familiar with your resume, I mean, they obviously know that you were a former first base coach. And I want to talk about 2000. Believe me, we're going to talk about 2015 in a few minutes. But when I went on Wikipedia, there was some stuff on there that I didn't even realize. Like, for example, I didn't know that you literally had a 12-year minor league career between, was it 85 and 96? Something like that?
Yes, that's correct, yes.
And then extensive coaching opportunities all over baseball. But I knew that you were involved in Baseball Canada and Canadian baseball, but I didn't realize how much. 2004 Canadian Olympic team, 2006, 2009, 2013 World Baseball Championships, bronze medal in 2008, 2011, and I think as recently as even a couple weeks ago, you've been involved with Canadian baseball. So how does an American guy from California get so knee-deep in Canadian baseball? I love it.
Well, I've spent over a third of my life here in Canada now, so I think I'm feeling a little bit more Canadian than American. I actually took a picture of my garage the other day when I was cleaning it out I think it was in between Canada Day and Independence Day, and there's a kayak, there's a snowmobile, there's a Canadian flag, and there's a picture of a wolf that was left in my garage when I bought it. So I think I have made the transformation over to being a full-fledged Canadian. But the Baseball Canada thing was great. I came to Canada. My first time I played here in 88 and 89 in London, Ontario for the AA Tigers. And then I coached for the Ottawa Lynx in 99. I eventually got married, had children there, had a family, split up. But during that time there, I met Greg Hamilton, who's the head of Baseball Canada, and we had a 3-4 year relationship. And at one point during our relationship, I just mentioned the fact that if he ever needed help coaching, I'd love to do it. Because at that time I had just got done coaching Jason Bay and had a few other players, and I really liked their team. I didn't realize how many great baseball players came from Canada and how well they did internationally. So he offered me a job on the Olympic qualifying team in 2003. And I've been carrying on ever since. We went to Panama that year. We qualified for the Olympics, went to Athens in 2004. And I've had a really nice run. We're all still together. Ernie Witt's still the manager. Larry Walker has since joined our coaching staff, Denny Boucher, Paul Quantrill, and then Greg Hamilton. So it's really honestly professional. I say it's professionally, but it's really the best thing I've ever done in my life. The Blue Jays thing was awesome. But I feel so blessed that I've gotten to do everything that's possibly good in Canada with baseball. I've been involved with some really good things, and I've been involved with some really good people, and that continues until today, and I feel really blessed that I get to do it.
Well, my co-host Peter Labardius is the single most patriotic person I know, and this guy could talk Canadian baseball all day, so there you go. There you go. So before I start hitting you with the Toronto Blue Jays stuff, I know Lou has a question for you. Fire away, Peter.
Tim, I probably have 1,000, to be honest. I've followed the Canadian baseball program very, very closely for a long time. I've been to World Junior Championships, the 2015 Pan Am gold medal game, and that event is one of my all-time favorite nights of being a sporting event. I know we were with the Blue Jays at that point in time. I don't even really know where to start, because with you, I think about a near Grand Slam home run in 2004 in Athens. And I can tell by your face, you can see that moment. I think about, I gotcha. I have the same ones too, honestly. I can think about our incredible win over the United States at Chase Field in Arizona in the World Cup of 2006. But here's one, because I think in our country, and I love the game. I love our country and all team sports. I've always wanted to ask somebody about this. 2011, Mexico, Pan American Games. Not even sure many people to this. You might know that we won in 2015, and it was frankly really sad that that game wasn't even on national television. If you can, and it's personal, take me back. You beat Mexico in the semifinal. You beat the United States 2-1 to win the gold medal. How high would that rank in Tim Leiper's best ever baseball moment?
It was really high. I realized how high it was when I got a letter in the offseason saying that we were being inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And that's something I never expected. And that was a really cool letter. And I had been with the program, I really came in at a good time. I almost cherry picked coming in. It was when Justin Warner was coming up, when Russ Martin was coming up, when Jason Bay was coming up. And we had all of our really good players coming together in 2003 to make the Olympics in 2004. And that was a huge accomplishment because at the time, only 2 teams from the Americas actually got a chance to go to the Olympics. And to knock the United States out and be able to go to Athens was huge. But our highest finish internationally in World Cups and things of that nature was a bronze medal. And that was, I believe, in like 2009. And that was a huge accomplishment for us in Italy to go ahead and win the bronze medal there. But to go to the Pan Am Games and win a gold medal, to win it against the U.S., to do it the way we did it was just fantastic. The greatest thing about that is that we had a World Cup before that. We finished third again in Panama. We went immediately down to Mexico to play in the Pan Am Games. And it gave our team a chance to be together a lot. And just everything came together at the right time. I don't know if you remember this. Scotty Richmond pitched the last 2 1/3 innings, I think, for us in that game. He had been awful, just absolutely, and he'll tell you this. He was awful for like the whole month in the World Cup and in the Pan Am Games. He was terrible for whatever reason that night. Man, he was throwing bullets and he was throwing darts and he wasn't missing Cole Armstrong's glove, and it was just awesome. And if you remember, we won that game. Jimmy Van Osteren hit a single down the right field line. Tim Smith was on first base. It was one of those plays as a third base coach you absolutely dream for, because the right fielder came in. Jimmy made a really good hard turn to second, and the right fielder came up to throw the ball to second base and was kind of undecided on what to do. The whole time that was going on, Tim Smith was running really hard. And so when the American outfielder threw the ball into second base, it gave me a chance to wheel Tim Smith home for what turned out to be the winning run and to win us our first gold medal game. So for me personally, it was a great thing for me as a third base coach, because you're usually not involved in too many games. And when you are, it's usually not for the right reasons. But everything that could happen perfectly for us in that situation got us a gold medal. And it was great. And it was coming on the heels of a couple tough tournaments, like, the World Baseball Classic in Toronto, where we end up losing to Venezuela and not getting to the next game. That was kind of big. Just personally, like watching Greg Hamilton, watching Ernie Witt navigate this thing, it was to see the hard work they put in. I know the kind of people they are. To win that gold medal for me, like for them, that was like, those were great moments and great memories for me. And to see your team up there on the gold medal platform, accepting their medals, why as a staff, you're back there, and then they give you a thumbs up and acknowledge you. Like, that was a really, really cool moment for me.
Tim, I just have one last one because I know Kel's got a million and we could keep you for 2 hours. It would be really easy. Greg Hamilton and what this man has done for baseball in our country. People aren't always familiar with that name. Needless to say, you have an incredible relationship. Is there any way to properly describe what that gentleman has done for baseball in this country?
Nobody can really understand how much he's done. And if you've gone through the program, and there's a million guys that are even now retiring from Major League Baseball that have come up through the national junior program and have been part of his leadership, they can tell you what it means. And I just think if you're a junior player in Canada and you get a chance to go through this program, by the time you actually play professional baseball, you've played more professional baseball games already than any kid in the United States has done in terms of like going to instructional leagues, going to spring trainings, playing in world junior tournaments everywhere against like unbelievable competition. But, what he brings to people as a human being, as a professional, how he prepares you for life outside baseball and your career going forward, you can't measure it whatsoever. It's a hidden gem It kind of goes, behind the curtain here.
Right.
I think that's the way he really likes it. But man, he's one of the best baseball people. I've been involved in some really good baseball experiences. He's truly the best baseball person I've ever been around in my entire life.
I think on Lou's bucket list now, he's added talk to Tim Leiper about Canadian baseball. I have a feeling you two guys. I have a feeling you guys could have about a 10-hour amazing conversation. I just like to sit back and watch something like that. But I know that the fans are boards lighting up. I can't get to all the questions, so I'm going to try to tie a lot of different things together. Let's talk a little bit about hair standing up on arms. You must have been standing on first base for the bat flip in 2015, were you not?
Great moment. Yes, it was. And at the time of the play, and I've said this before, at the time of the play, I wasn't really needed to coach the bases. So for whatever reason, I just kind of moved towards the on-deck circle, towards the batter's box a little bit closer, just to watch Jose hit. And it was crazy. We had emptied the benches 2 or 3 times before that. It's a bad day in Canada when people are throwing full beer cans down on the field. So the stadium was crazy. But I just happened to sneak down and just watch Jose. I didn't watch Dyson deliver the ball. I didn't watch anything else. I just wanted to concentrate on him. And thank God I did, because that was the moment he hit it. And when he hit it, it was a no-doubter. I was completely locked in. It was a no-doubter. And then he stood there. And literally the words out of my mouth, I started to say, you got to and I was going to say, you got to run. You got to run. And then I thought to myself, Leap, you're an idiot. This is the greatest moment maybe in Canadian baseball history, except for the Joe Carter home run. I'm like, man, I'm just sat back and enjoyed it. And it was really cool. And it was great to take it all in. It was great I was really focused on Jose the whole time he did that. I thought it was really fitting that a guy who had carried this franchise on his back for as many years as he did was the guy that hit that home run. And that was it was great because it took us to the next round, which was huge. And at the time, we really, really thought we could win the World Series. We probably still do. And but it was great that it was him that did it. I was really happy for him after all he's gone through here. Here's where I'm going to go with this little transition. My perception, and I don't think I'm wrong, is that although there have been many great players that have come through the Blue Jays organization over the years, what sticks with people? Well, Dave Stieb, Jesse Barfield, George Bell. Why? Because in the 80s, the Blue Jays were winning and the Blue Jays were special, right from coast to coast. I don't need to tell you that. You've lived it being with baseball. People love those guys from that time. Then in the 90s, they're winning World Series. You got everyone from the Henke and Alomar and Carter and people love those guys because they won. The same thing could be said for that run that you guys had in those years. You go out and you get Tulowitzki, you get David Price. That sends a message to not only the team but the fans that we're here to win. And you did. And people won't forget Bautista, and they won't forget the players and Encarnacion, those types of guys. I think we're on the cusp, of having another group with the, Bo Bichette's and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Teoscar Martinez. I think that's coming. It's too early to tell, but don't you kind of feel like it's on the verge of something special happening with this group? Maybe not this year, maybe not this year, but in the next year or two? Yeah, you absolutely feel that too. And it's all kind of lining up. It's funny now because you're looking at the way they play and you look at the weekend. It was a good weekend. And obviously they could have won yesterday as well. But you're starting to break this team down now to the little fine details, the things that used to be kind of cute with the guys growing up, the growing pains. The growing pains are kind of over. And now it's for real. And this team does have a chance to win. They're great guys. They're guys that are going to capture the city's heart because they're young, they're enthusiastic, they're super talented, and they're super good. And I'm looking at this perfect storm of maybe the border opening back up, maybe the stadium being back open, maybe seeing the team come and to see this place to be ready to go in August and September this year. I can feel like it could be so crazy and it could just capture the city's heart at the absolute perfect time. I think it's a huge opportunity this year because I think never before has the American League East except for the time that we were there, and we were really, really good. I think it's really winnable. I think when you get to the playoffs, just because there's so many pitching injuries, there's so many different factors that aren't involved in a quote unquote normal season, that I think that the opportunities are there. Obviously, I think they need to get a little bit better. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do at the trade deadline. But this team is definitely good enough to be in the mix, to win an American League East, to get deep into the playoffs. And it's going to be fun. It's fun for me as a fan, and it's really cool knowing some of these guys and knowing what they're about to go through. And I couldn't agree with you more. It's how you manage it, how you get all the pieces together, the risks that you have to take now to get a little bit better, even though they may not be popular at the time that you do them. Like your ability to evaluate your own system, who to trade, who to keep, who not to, what this team really needs to win a championship. This is going to be on this front office, and this is going to be on this team. And these are the moments that make or break like people. And I think this team has a chance to be really, really good and have a chance to do something really special in this city.
Last question. So my perception would be that now that Robbie Ray has just dialed up his game, Stripling's been really good, but Alek Manoah seems to me that he's a big X factor here, because I don't think that as good as they thought that he was, that he would be able to come in and dominate like he has. Now, there's going to be ups and downs. He's a rookie, so every game's not going to be like the last one we saw where his slider was so good. Like, good luck. Wade Boggs would have had a tough time with that slider that day. But he's given them a chance, I think, to strengthen the starting rotation enough that if you add maybe another pitcher or two to the bullpen, they've done a little bit here, you might be, I mean, they're 4 points out of the wild card. So you go from kind of thinking like, well, maybe this isn't the year. Let's not get seduced by a 500 type of team. Their best years are ahead. But now I'm starting to hear the executive guys like Mark Shapiro and them saying, well, we think we might be able to win this year. If you were a betting man, do you think, Tim, that there's going to make some moves and they're going to throw their name in the hat for this year? Or do you think this is still a setup year and they're not quite willing to trade future assets quite yet? What do you think?
That's going to be their big decision. And what they say and what they feel are probably two entirely different things, maybe not. I look at this. This is exactly the kind of team you bet on. If you look at us in 2015, we were 5.5 games out of a wild card, I think, at the time we made our trades. And the same goes for 2016. What you want to be is that team that's playing great going into the playoffs. And this team obviously can hit. And you look back at the things we did in 2015. And one thing with Alex Anthopoulos, like, there was nothing that was not obtainable. There wasn't a player that was not obtainable. So he shot for the moon, and we got David Price. And not only did we get David Price, we got Mark Lowe, we got LaTroy Hawkins. We made our bullpen stronger. We got an ace. We got an ace in David Price. We got Troy Tulowitzki. But it was the Ben Revere, and it was Cliff Pennington, and it was Darwin Barney. Like, these kind of tighten these things up too. So it wasn't just the really big acquisitions we got. So there's a lot I think this team has to do. Again, I think the way they swing the bats, the way that there's times they've been able to navigate their way through a bullpen that hasn't been really good. Obviously, it's easy to say, let's go out and get bullpen pieces. We're going to be better. For me, I think you need to think a little bit bigger than that. I think you definitely need the bullpen pieces. But why not go out and get a number one starter? Why not go get a Price or get a guy and really pay heavily for a guy that can actually take the pressure off your bullpen and make the guys that are returning from injury a little bit stronger, because you don't have to use them as much. So I think this is the perfect time to do it. It would lead them perfectly, whether they get the wild card, whether they win the division, it gets them into the playoffs playing really well. And I think one thing that might take away from being a coach for 5 years in the major leagues is I saw teams give up on themselves too much and underestimate themselves, probably more than I saw them overestimate themselves. So looking at this from a fan standpoint, from a guy who's in the business, I look at this team and there's something really, really special here. And I would shoot the moon right now. And a lot of these moves that you make that might be big moves are moves that can help you in the future too. Like, we were really good in 16 as well. We didn't get there the same way we did in 15. I think we underestimated ourselves in 17. But with some of these trades, man, it probably lasted 3 years for us. So when you have a chance in the major leagues, it's really difficult to win. Windows are really small. You may think you have it laid out perfectly, but you know what? The players see it differently. It's different. This team's good. This team can hit. They got a deep lineup. They can beat 8 pitching. make it happen now for me. Like this is because, again, you don't want to see this go away, get close, and then never get there again. I think this is a good opportunity because the way the league is, it's so crazy with injuries. It's so crazy with teams that are, now there's no sticky stuff in the ball. Number one starters are not number one starters anymore. Like your guys are good. Your guys are clean. Go for it. That's my opinion. If I was doing it, this would be a good time to go for it. And it's not just for this year. It would carry over into next year as well.
The only downside to this is we don't have more time. I would love to I would just love to talk to you for another 20 minutes. But we're very, very grateful that you would take time out of your day today to join us here on the Rod Pedersen Show. Tim, can't thank you enough. Thank you for coming on. I hope one day, at least if I'm ever invited back to do this show again, I would love to have you back because I feel like we could just keep talking. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Great talking to you. Great meeting you. And it was an enjoyment. Great conversation. I can talk about Baseball Canada all day, too.
Well, there. Hey, Peter lives in Mississauga. You guys should get together.
Tim, thanks for, in all sincerity, in closing, I know we got to run. Thanks for all you have done in the sport for our country. It is so appreciated. And you being an American, I think in some ways it means even more. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean it. I really do.
Yeah, thanks. Again, I'm just lucky to be part of something that Greg built, and I'm fortunate to do it. Thanks a lot. That means a lot.
All right, Tim Leiper, former first base coach of the Toronto Blue Jays, was standing on first base or just off first base for the big Jose Bautista backflip in 2015. Can you imagine having a front row seat for that? Anyway, we're up against the break. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. You're listening to the Rod Pedersen Show, and we will be back in a couple minutes. Don't go away, folks.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it. Let's head back to the studio.
I've lost 30 pounds. My cheeks aren't quite that chubby anymore, but that's okay. I'll take it. Man, I could have talked to Tim Leiper for hours. I know, Peter, you probably feel the same way. Peter Labardius joining us in the co-host chair from Mississauga, Ontario. That was fascinating. One of the things that, I'd like to talk to you about, I don't know how much Jays baseball you've watched, but I kind of agree with Tim. I know that there's always going to be that debate is when's the right time to sell? When's the right time to move future pieces to win now? And maybe the Blue Jays are a little ahead of schedule. Maybe not. Maybe they expected to be right there. But when I look at that roster and I see finally George Springer back in the lineup, I see Grichuk, I see Gurriel Jr., I see Teo Hernandez out in right field. I'm seeing Bichette and, Marcus Semien. Who would have thought that he'd be amongst the top in the Major League Baseball in home runs? Vladdy. Now they got a catcher that can actually, hit in Reese McGuire. Pretty decent starting pitching. The bullpen's still but you know what? I kind of agree with Tim. Like, the window and the opportunity to win is so small that you don't know 3-4 years from now if these guys you can afford them or they're willing to pay them. So I don't know, Lou. I've always thought they're not ready. They're not quite good enough yet. Let's not everybody get excited. Next year, let's throw our name in the hat when we really have a chance. But they're only 4 games out of a wild card. Maybe now's the time.
Well, this is a long one, but Marcus Semien, for me, has been their best player this year. And he signed a 1-year, $18 million deal. Kelly, he's going to make $100 million going forward. He's going to be one of the big tickets in free agency. I'm never really okay with selling key free agent assets, but that gets balanced by, they were lucky in a different kind of season to be in the playoffs last year. I think there's ways that you can do both. And if they could ever go out and land 2 players in particular, a starting pitcher, but maybe even more importantly, a guy who could throw 3, a long reliever. It's one of the most underrated players in the sport, to help them in that transition, then those would be 2 significant pieces that I'd love to see them try to add, and I'm sure they are.
Up against the break, we went a little long with Tim, which was fine. We did the right thing, Lou. We did the right thing by going long with Tim. But, Timmy! But we got to take a break,
Timmy,
and we'll be back right after this. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. Do not go away. We're going to set up Lou to talk a little basketball, Canadian basketball. I can't wait for this. Rod Pedersen Show. Come on back, folks.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. The patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery. Stars, we can accept admission. This is why I'm all in.
Admission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
At Capital GMC, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital GMC, we'll buy it.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Speaking of Twitter, I have one of the loneliest Twitter accounts in Canada. I would really appreciate it if some of you, any of you, would take pity on me and humor me and check me out at @SilverFoxTalks. I am one funny SOB. But nobody's watching. Then you got Lou over there at Fan960 Lou. He's the co-host today. Actually, I'm just kidding, Peter. I got like at least 1,000 followers now. Yeah, I'm moving up.
I'll tell you this. It may not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
All right.
No kidding. No kidding.
That's a show all to itself.
Yeah. Tell me about it. You know, so here's the thing, Peter. I want to dabble in this now, and then we'll really get into it at about 11:40 or about half an hour from now. Yeah. But let's give people an appetizer. And I'll really quickly set the table because we got about 2 minutes. The Canadians defeated the Greeks 97-91, and then China 109-79 before dropping a heartbreaking overtime loss to the Czechs on Saturday. They do not qualify for the Olympics again. We're going to get into it after we talk to Rod and Darren right after the break. You and I are going to spend some real time on this. Let's wet people's whistle. You got 90 seconds, Lou, to talk about how you're feeling right now. You're down, Lou.
Crushed. I haven't felt that way about a loss in a long time. And to the point, Cal, I don't even completely understand it in a sense. Hockey is my favorite sport. People know that. But for those who don't know, my passion for any team that wears the Maple Leafs is probably not even understandable, probably need help, counseling, and psychiatry for how that can make me feel at certain times. But basketball has really gotten to me, and I'll explain further as to why this one really, really stung, and we'll get to that later.
We have Rod Pedersen, we have Darren DuPont coming on this show. Well, it's their show. Why shouldn't they be on? They're in Montreal. We're going to talk to them right after the break. You're watching.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. The patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery. Stars, we can accept the mission. This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
At Capital Ford Lincoln, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital Ford Lincoln, we'll buy it.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
We do have breaking news today, and you're the guy that's behind this. Over to you, Moose.
We're going to Montreal.
Ta-da!
How about that?
We are taking our show on the road. Thursday and Friday, we'll be on the air from the Stanley Cup Finals. How cool is that?
Yes, live Thursday, Friday from Montreal, downtown Montreal. in advance of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. We will be there live.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Well, I'm not as handsome as Rod Pedersen, who is. Darren DuPont, maybe. And speaking of Rod and Darren, they're going to be joining us here in just a few moments. They're getting ready. They're fired up. They're anxious. They're excited. They have been taking over Montreal. We'll get to that in a moment as well. Taking over Montreal the last 4 or 5 days. They've been doing shows. They've been up to all kinds of cheap chicanery and skullduggery in that fine community. And bathing in the atmosphere of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I can't wait to talk to these two guys about all the trouble that they've been causing. Joining us from Mississauga, Ontario, of course, my co-host and good buddy, Peter Labardius. Peter joined me on Wednesday. He's back here again today. We got a good thing going here, Lou, you and I. And, you know, if you can't...
I've kind of felt that way since about 1989, but yes.
Well, that's true. You know, at first, though... It's a tough, Rod and Darren, a tough act to follow. I kind of liken it to back in the Stampede Wrestling days when Ed Whalen was not available to do the show. Stampede Wrestling, there were times where it didn't matter what the championship match was. It just wasn't the same. You didn't even want to watch.
No, I didn't watch. I didn't really want to watch it without Ed, I'll be honest.
So, you know, when Rod and Darren aren't here, you know, you wonder sometimes. But I think we've held our own, and now I'm told that Rod and Darren, in fact, are going to be able to join us from sunny Montreal. And I will say this.
There we go.
Bill and Ted have nothing on you guys. The Rod and Darren excellent Montreal adventure has been in full force over the last few days. You've broken into the tennis stadium. You've broken into McGill University. The RCMP are on the hunt for you guys. And the Mafia's not impressed. I mean, what
are you watching this?
What the heck is going on? You guys have taken over the city. It's unbelievable.
They've been very welcoming, and Lou has worked here many times professionally. Happy Monday, guys. And they're very nice to us. Yeah, and I know just enough French to get around, boys, and have for a long, long time. So it kind of feels like not home, of course. But listen, I want to give you a little tour. This is kind of a Letterman-esque skit, wouldn't you say? Right out front of the Bell Center?
Yeah, we're getting the 360.
Yeah, well, we got our dudes right over here, Sean Reynolds and Eric Engels. They're on the air live. You don't mind if I walk and talk, do you?
No, go ahead. Interesting content.
It's your show.
Oh, I know. Hey, look at this guy. Sean, give us a wave. Where is he? Right there. 100%. Look at these guys. They're in the shade. Yeah, I'm loving it too. Eric, they said they love my outfit. I don't got to worry about sweating in this thing like those guys. And Lou, you've been here, man. You know what it's like with these wonderful Yvonne Cornway. Let me tell you a story about him. Dickie Moore, Jacques Plante, Doug Harvey, The Flower. You seen this?
Yeah.
So it's game day, boys. It's game day. And I guess if you're asking the vibe of Montreal, it's actually picking up. The last couple of days, it's been not good. They don't think that their team is going to come back and win this series. And I'm like, Lou, you know they know hockey in this town, right? But I'm like, you guys got to win one game. You can't win 4 tonight.
Rod, let me say this first. You know, I've been very lucky and very blessed. There is nothing like hockey in Montreal for me personally. It is my favorite. There's nothing like it. And it's because it's way more than just hockey. So I think, and you guys would have gotten into this, you know, the other day on the program, the two that you hosted, just kind of for people who might be tuning in today, what has it been like to be in that city, which I've never had the experience of, during a Stanley Cup final?
Well, I think if the Habs had a chance, they would to win this thing. They'd be going off the chain and vibrating. And I kind of I wanted to be down here the other night for Game 3. There was 30,000 people in this area. You guys saw it on TV, but when Knuckles Nyland tells you to come to his house for supper to watch the game, you don't really say no, right? So I wasn't down here for that. But when we came back downtown from Knuckles' house, it was dead. And we were told that we were lucky that people weren't rioting. It just fizzled. So that was Friday night, Lou. And then Saturday, Sunday, as you know, Pete, that Habs logo is on most buildings 365, just in the windows of businesses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every building has the Habs logo on it. Most of these skyscrapers are lit up in red, white, and blue. But that's it. You don't see people running around the streets with Habs gear on and yelling and stuff. They don't think they're going to win tonight. I heard a couple people say, it would be nice if they won so Tampa could win at home in front of their crowd. You probably saw what John Cooper said about that. He's like, no, we're ending it in Game 4. And then even Knuckles the other night, Nyland, he was like, well, we know we made it this far, but God, it's hard to go this far and then lose, right? So they're not that positive about tonight.
So what would the atmosphere over the weekend have been like compared to before Game 3? I mean, they were down 2 coming back from Tampa, but I got to think even then, the fact that they were coming home, there must have been a little bit of buzz. Now I'm starting to get the sense from you that there really isn't a whole lot of buzz because the locals feel like they're done, right?
It's the truth. And I'm not trying to be a downer. Believe me, this is 110 on game day.
Yeah.
That's right in front of the rink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing. There's
what
nothing.
more do I need? What more do I need? I'm telling you, would I lie to you? You guys are my boys.
Yeah.
So it's just the front cover of the Journal de Montréal today. The story was, do you believe in miracles? Well, in French, croyez-vous au miracle? And
or clarity or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So it's well, not only that, but it's a bit of a downer. I mean, Lou, you know where the Chateau Champlain is. That's where we're staying. It's a block from the ring.
Oh, yeah. I know it well.
And all the staff there, because we've been doing our shows from there, they're like, we just got back to work on July 1st. We've been off for a year. So COVID's taken a major bite out of this town, too. So I'm happy to be here, happy to spend a night with Knuckles and our friends and so forth, and realize that a lot of people out here watch this show, guys. A lot of people. When I said that Habs fans are annoying, when I said Habs fans are annoying, they actually thought it was funny. They weren't mad, which is good.
Well, Rod, okay, so we have to know. Aside from, take the Knuckles Nyland dinner out of the equation, because that probably, unless I'm wrong, of course, that would probably be a highlight for you. But what are some of the other things and trouble that you two degenerates have gotten into there that maybe probably some of it you don't want to share, but there's got to be a story or two that you do? Fire away. People want to know.
It's not like the old days, Remps.
No.
Everything that we did, everything was on video. So, breaking into McGill Stadium, which, as I said, the door was open. Technically, we didn't break into anything. Running around the field. Rogers Stadium, where the Rogers Cup was cool. Breaking into there. But people have just been overly nice. And to be honest, Luke comes from the NHL world. So this wouldn't surprise you. But just talking to the NHL personnel, they've been so kind and kind of welcoming us in and realizing that the protocols the CFL's following and that the people are complaining about is absolutely no different than what the NHL players are following. It's very strict. They're keeping the players locked up. And as much as the players in the CFL think it sucks, this is the way it's going to be. The NHL's not going through anything different. I talked to Phil Pritchard yesterday, right? The keeper of the cup. And the first game he's going to attend is tonight because it's an elimination game. But he's like, I can't come down. I can't meet you for lunch. I can't go on your show because we're locked up. And that sucks. These guys have been locked up for a year and a half. And I don't know what it is, Lou. The NHL clearly just wants us to see the games. They don't want the public to know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's cool. But since we've got to Montreal, we've kind of realized that this has not been a great life for NHL players or any pro athletes for the last 16, 17 months.
No, I would say this, Rod, that for players in the United States, as the season went on, they had a better feel than, the Canadian teams and what they had to go through, because going all the way back to the bubble, they're still in it. They've never been out of it, and all the testing, and it's daily. And, in this series, you guys have talked about it, I'm sure, it's been a big adjustment for Tampa from where they were even in the last series. You come into Montreal, you're going to 3 places: the airport, your hotel, and the rink. And that is it. That is it. You don't go anywhere. And Montreal has been in that place forever. So, it's very different. And I don't know what your thoughts are, Rod, but I'll tell you what's really fascinating from someone in our business. Where do we go next with access? Does it stay more limited? Are we back in dressing rooms again? There's a lot of, if you're in this business, there's a lot of big things coming and big answers that we're going to get at some point. Like, even for myself, we didn't travel this year. We did the road games in studio, and I don't know that that's not going to continue.
Oh, I know. Well, the big one I think about is the access, because as you know, the teams don't like the media to begin with. So if they have an opportunity to stay on Zoom, they'll probably do that. And that's what I'm expecting. As far as the travel, that's why I don't really miss it. Look at us. My God, we got to come out here and do 2 shows. Bob's your uncle. This is the greatest thing in the world. But talking about coming into Montreal, I just don't want to leave this point on John Cooper, the coach of the Lightning, with, I don't know who would have asked this question. It's the dumbest question ever. Do you actually want to lose Game 4 so you can go home and win on Game 5? And in that article, if you read it, it was from the Canadian Press, the Canadian government would not allow friends and family of the Lightning to come to the game here in Montreal. That was a government decision, right? So if they do win tonight, they're not going to be celebrating, and they're going to be celebrating in front of 3,500 Habs fans. So that's another thing where, I guess, normally in an elimination game in the Stanley Cup, there'd be family members here to watch it, and that's not going to be the case. And I just think, what a dumb question to ask Coach John Cooper. And incidentally, if he wanted to lose to go home and win in Game 5 or 7, they're not in a position to win the Stanley Cup, because that's a loser attitude. But that's just my take on that.
Well, and to take it one step further, Rod, I would suspect that if you're on the Tampa Bay Lightning and you're into this thing for as many days as you've been with exactly what you and Peter have just talked about, the quarantine, the 2 tests a day, rapid tests, and the life that they have lived outside of the games. Do you really think that you would spend 10 more minutes in this than you would absolutely have to? I mean, and you're right, Rod. I mean, even if the answer was, it would be kind of fun to win at home, which, trust me, at this point, they don't care. They just want this thing over with and win.
Right.
What's he gonna say? You know what? You bring up a great point. I think it would probably be in everybody's best interest to fill the building in Tampa again, just because we just love this whole quarantine thing so much that it would be so much fun to win in front of our hometown fans. Our kids and families can wait. I mean, oh my goodness. But anyway, you know what? It is what it is. I just feel we're going to leave you with this, Rod. And I know you don't want a pity party, and I know you're having a great time. But I do feel bad for you guys, because think of how much fun that would have been if they would have won Game 3 or any of the games. And tonight's game was perceived by the locals as maybe meaning a little bit more. It would have changed your whole experience, but I guess that's the hand you're dealt. So what are you going to do? It's too bad, though.
Well, I thought about it earlier on Friday before Game 3. I'm like, if they win and they have a chance on Monday night to tie up the series 2-2, we got to stay. Like, we had a chance to go to the game tonight. But with what it is now, look, we've been with a lot of Montreal people, born and bred Montrealers, and they're talking about rioting, I'm sorry to say, tonight after the game, that there will be riots. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What's wrong with you? And they just laugh and say, well, we're nuts. Like, making no apologies whatsoever for the rioting in Montreal. And it happened the other night when they beat Vegas. a week ago or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm okay getting out of here if that's the way that it's going to go down.
Yeah, well, the people that are doing that kind of stuff, if that in fact is what ends up happening, they're not the hockey fans, they're hooligans. Let's call it what it is. The true Montreal Canadian fans, they're not doing that kind of stuff. We're up against the break. I'm being told by, you know what it's like when Clark's screaming at you? We're up against the break. Actually, he's not screaming, but we are up against the break. Hey, Rod, thanks for taking the time to join Peter and I here today. Looks like despite the circumstances, you're still making the best of it and having some fun. And we'll see you soon, my friend.
We always do. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. Thanks for helping out, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
It's been great. So we're going to talk to Peter when we come back from the break. We're going to get his thoughts on this Team Canada, this Canadian basketball situation. And you're not going to want to miss it. I'm really curious as to what Lou has to say about Canada once again not qualifying for the Olympic Games. And we're going to talk about that. Give us about 3 minutes and we'll be back right here on The Rod Pedersen Show.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop online. UltimateFanZone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. UltimateFanZone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFC Downtown Moose Jaw. Home of everything authentic.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. How about that?
Speaking of Montreal, the G2G protein bar, folks. Ben Cahoon's company, the great Montreal Alouette receiver. I got the almond coconut going right now, and I'm soon to devour the peanut butter chocolate chip. Now
How about that?
That's prop comedy, folks. See what I did there? I got to eat and promote one of our sponsors at the same time. Actually, it's more like prop tragedy. The tragedy is there's not more of these for me to eat, because I could go through a whole box of these. Honest to goodness, if I didn't mean it, I wouldn't say it. This is the best protein bar that I have ever had in my life. Ben Cahoon's company, the G2G protein bar. Anyway, there you go. Shameless plug, but I got to eat, so I'm a happy guy. Let's go to the Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Daily poll question, folks. Will the Lightning sweep the Habs tonight? It's closer than I thought, to be honest with you, Lou. Yes, 60%, no, 40%. I was thinking it's going to be like an 80-20, and they've narrowed the gap again. I don't know. I guess with Carey Price, you never know, right?
I have an odd feeling that tonight's game goes to overtime, and I'll put it to you this way. I won't be completely shocked if Montreal scrapes a win out tonight. I mean, it's a very prideful group. They've gone a long way. You don't necessarily want somebody else parading the Stanley Cup around your own arena. If Carey Price is Carey Price tonight, then I won't be shocked if they find a way. And, with Tampa, they have had 2 days to probably, in a sense, feel like, how could we not win? And sometimes, Kelly, in sports, that can be just enough edge taken off to not get the job done. So, maybe that's just wishful thinking, because, I'm hoping to watch a really good hockey game tonight. And I think we'll get one. I'm not saying I'd vote. If I had the vote in the poll, that I would for sure go Montreal. But, I won't be shocked if tomorrow on this show that, we're getting ready for a game 5.
Well, the other thing, too, is I have a sneaky suspicion that Carey Price, who is a very proud guy, does not want to have another subpar performance tonight and be remembered as the guy that really struggled in the Stanley Cup Finals. And if he puts together a couple of great performances and that team feeds, especially at home tonight, feeds off of that, because they go as he goes. I mean, let's be honest. We could easily see the Montreal Canadiens win, but that has to happen. Carey Price has to be the best player on the ice. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, Peter, I would agree. He probably needs to be one of the game's 3 stars tonight in order for the Canadian season to continue.
I don't see it happening any other way, and that scenario presenting itself, quite frankly. Okay, so a lot of people have been hanging around here to get your thoughts on Canada being eliminated from contention to qualify for the Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. You said about a half an hour ago that this is one of the toughest sports pills that you have swallowed in a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
We almost talked about it before we went live on the air, and then I said, whoa, I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it the same time everybody else hears it. So you have as much time as you want to get whatever off your chest that you want. So fire away, Lou. I'm going to snack on one of Ben Cahoon's 2G's protein bars and turn you loose, my friend.
Well, I don't think today I really need to be turned loose, but I love Team Canada, team sports, and let's face it, and I know I'm probably on a bit of an island, in the sense that means a lot to me, and I think being in the business that I'm in, where the fandom really in a lot of ways gets taken out of you a little bit, so that's just an area for me that really matters. It's mattered since I was a little guy. And, I have great memories of even going all the way back to 76 and Martin Riley and Phil Tollestrup and Canada finishing fourth in Montreal in men's basketball. And, the incredible excitement and pleasure I got from Canada winning the World Universiade games in 1983 in Edmonton and upsetting the Americans and then beating the then Yugoslavians. And Kel, why this one really hurts is I'm still stung from 2015 when Canada lost to Venezuela to make their way into the 2016 games. And I truly believe that Canada in basketball on the men's side is on the precipice of doing something incredibly special. But what really has haunted them, not so much this year, but we can't necessarily convince all our best people to play when it matters the most. Now, unfortunately, this time around, Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets, who even if he plays, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of Oklahoma City, you and I probably aren't having this discussion. But to put it simply, until you get over, you're not over. And every time this country doesn't qualify for the Olympics, it might be another reason as to why guys don't make the commitment or don't find a way to play for our country. And listen, on a worldwide level, we're not the greatest at a lot of team sport. But I think with our personnel and the NBA and the amount of NBA players would indicate this. First of all, basketball is a worldwide sport.
Yep.
If we can ever break the barrier and get in with the types of players and the types of young players, I truly think that by Paris in 2024, Canada can win a medal and could potentially play the United States for a gold. And by 2028, could play them again. I see Canada as kind of being to basketball what many years ago the United States became to hockey. And I want it. And it matters. And I saw what happened with the Raptors a couple of years ago. In fact, if that would ever happen, basketball might arguably become as big a sport in this country as any, including my favorite, being hockey. So the way they lost, and for the people didn't watch, they're always they were favored because we had more NBA talent than anybody else in the tournament. But guess what? Other countries are really good at this sport. They're really experienced. The Czechs shocked me again last night. They beat a really good Greek team by 25 points to grab the spot. I'm tired.
Peter, they also play together for a longer period of time as well.
Exactly.
So the chemistry, we haven't even talked about that. I mean, I think the reason why Canada is able to do it in hockey, say as an example at the World Juniors or at the Olympics or whatever, is, there is such a discrepancy at some point at times between talent that you can get away with it. But if you don't have your absolute best players playing in a tournament where you're playing against a country that play together all the time, and like God bless Nick Nurse, but he can only do so much coaching and he can only be so prepared. If the chemistry isn't maybe what it could be, then you better have your best players available to you. And I guess that's what you're saying. I mean, I look at it and I go, well, was the coaching and the preparation the problem? I find that very hard to believe.
Not a chance.
I don't know.
Listen, here's a couple things what this is about. the scary, like, if I knew that this was the kind of loss that, first of all, Kelly, here's the best way to put it.
Okay.
Experience matters, and our best young players are young. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, RJ Barrett, 21. You know, like, yes, they're in the NBA, but they're young and they're inexperienced. What we need is to grow a core group that goes through more of these situations. The problem is it's a bit of a chicken and the egg. Once you get there and experience it, then guys really want to jump on and be part of it. The problem is until you get there, I think it gives guys more reason to go, I don't want to commit my summer. I don't want to give up those weeks. So it's really a catch-22. And, you know, in life and sports, until you're over, you're not over. And this is a bit of a blown opportunity for our country in its progression. And I'm sorry, after you watch it in 2015, and we've had a lot of disappointments in this country in basketball since Steve Nash in Sydney in 2000. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see it again. And it bugs me because if we can ever kind of get down the right road, we're going to be a powerhouse in this sport. But until you're there, you're not there.
That was on the verge of being a Bronco Plumbing and Heating Rod's rant. I love it, Lou.
Yeah.
I love it. But, you know, so when you talk to world-class hockey players in Canada, from the time they're in grade 9 and 10, they want to play on the Canada Program of Excellence. They aspire to take part in those kinds of things and be part of that. Making Canada's World Junior team, making the Olympic team, like, it's huge. It's huge. Massive. But obviously, maybe what you're saying is in the sport of basketball, when you get to the NBA and, you know, now I got to take time, like, defer to the elevator ride you and I had with Chris Chelios and Bret Hall in the elevator. Speaking of Montreal, what was that, 96?
96 World Cup,
Yeah, just to give people a quick... you know what? When we come back from break, we'll give them the Bret Hall, Chris Chelios story that you and I watched with our own two eyes. It was incredible.
Yeah, talk about an unbelievable 5 days in Montreal. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, so we got 90 seconds left, Lou. In conclusion, any final thoughts? Is Nick Nurse going to want to stick around? He sounds like he does. He sounds like there's unfinished business. So. I sure hope he does, Peter, because, to me, that would be devastating if a guy like that said, I've had it, and I hope he comes back. I really do.
Well, I do too. And the thing is, it's a little different, is we didn't lose this time because a lot of good players didn't show up. We had a couple of unfortunate breaks, but so did Greece, and they were down 3 or 4 really key people. But here's what I'm hoping, Kelly, happens. If you're the young guys on that program, this I'm hoping fuels the fire to say, this isn't happening again. And we need this core of guys to feel that way and have the accountability. That's the difference between hockey and other sports in our country. If this happened in hockey, think about the outcry. Just think about it for a minute.
Well, we'd be having summits. We'd be having, fire the coach. We'd be wanting to evaluate everything.
We're at a point now that we are too good at this sport not to play in the final 12. We're too good at it. We're too good at it. And I hope this is a springboard to those young guys who are great young players. And trust me, we're in the World Under-19 Championship, and I've watched the first 2 games. We won a gold medal a few years ago, won the World Championship, another sporting event that people in our country don't know about. We're getting closer all the time. But like I said, I hope this is a springboard with these great young NBA players to say, we're not missing this in Paris. We're not missing it in Paris.
I'm not even going to get you started on Canadian men's soccer.
Well, we're coming back. We're back.
Yeah.
I'm back in.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, John
It's
Herdman.
improving. It's improving.
Yep.
Anyway, we got to take a break. We'll be right back with Peter Labardius. You're talking to Peter. You're talking to Kelly on the Rod Pedersen Show. Hang in there. We'll be right back, folks.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop online. UltimateFanZone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. UltimateFanZone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFC Downtown Moose Jaw. Home of everything authentic.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalfordlincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Let's head back to the studio.
Going to take a little trip down memory lane for Peter and I. I promised before the last break that we would talk a little bit about a very interesting conversation, to say the least, that Peter Labardius, who is, of course, the co-host on the show here today, he and I witnessed firsthand, folks. You can't make this stuff up. This happened. 1996, the World Cup of Hockey at the Bell Centre in Montreal. Canada goes and takes a 1-0 lead. Game 1, they come back for games 2 and 3 in Montreal at the Bell Center. We're staying at the same hotel as the players. Can you believe that? It's about a block or two away from the Bell Center. And Lou and I, after game 2, we're not in a very good mood because Canada's lost. So now the U.S. have tied the series at 1. We get on the elevator to go up to our room, neither one of us saying a word. And guess who happens to be riding the elevator with us going up to the 11th floor? Two guys we really didn't need to see at that moment, Chris Chelios and Bret Hall. And
probably the last two guys on planet Earth that I wanted to be in an elevator with at that particular time.
Yeah, well, add Mike Richter to that list for me. But definitely two of the top 2, 3, or 4. So we're riding the elevator up. And Chris Chelios doesn't know us from Adam.
No.
He turns to Bret Hall and he says, Bret, we're 1 win away. We're 1 win away from beating these MFers. And Bret Hall looks at Chris Chelios and he says, yeah, but I know this means that now I got to spend another 2 or 3 days away from my wife and my kids and cutting into my summer again. Chris Chelios looks at Bret Hall with eyes that, if looks could kill, and he says, so what? And Peter and I were like we couldn't believe it.
No,
Chris Chelios putting Bret Hall in his place.
Yeah,
that was the second. That was the second last time that I was at the Bell Center in Montreal. The last time I was at the Bell Center in Montreal was the Montreal screw job.
Yes.
At the Survivor Series. Speaking of Bret's, standing outside the dressing room after my good friend Bret Hart knocked Vince McMahon unconscious with a right uppercut. I don't know which haunts me more to this day. Well, I actually do know it was that. That I still have nightmares about that. But neither one, great memories for me.
Every time you go to Montreal, it's memorable.
I might stay away from the Bell Center.
Okay, just, because we can share, and guess what? It's our show today for a little while. So imagine a sports trip, okay, and we lost hockey's number 1 dad in Walter Gretzky. Kel, I don't know if you remember this. Of course, I'm sure you will. So, 1996, couldn't be more excited about going to games 2 and 3 of the World Cup final. The semifinal against the Swedes almost physically killed me. We won in double overtime, or the whole trip would have kind of been ruined. But in 5 days, we went to 2 Expo games, the 2 games of the World Cup final, and of course, because of my good friend Remps, and I love the band too, we saw a Def Leppard concert. So it was a pretty full time. So I had a dear friend, she's a travel agent, she set us up. So we get the cab, we pull up to the hotel, and we're like, there's like Wayne Gretzky outside, Bob Cole, a bunch of players, and we're like, where are we? The rink is literally 10 steps away. And we walk in the lobby, remember, Kel? And there's Walter Gretzky holding court with a bunch of people in the front lobby. And you and I looked at one another, and I don't know if probably me. And I said, are we, is this are we really here? I'll never forget, I can visually see us pulling in and then walking into that hotel with our bag.
Well, and just the euphoria, that surrounded those days, because, you had all the sportscasters that were there. You had the teams, right? just walking around, going to get a coffee in the hallway, and there's Eric Lindros standing there. And at that point in my life, I hadn't really been exposed to a lot of that, and it was pretty cool. I just remember at that point I had not heard a roar or as loud a roar as when Eric Lindros tied the game with a few seconds left in the second period. Was that game 3?
Game 3. 5 seconds left in the second period to tie the game at 1.
Yeah, I just remember you talk about a pop that just sent the. I'd have to go back to Stan Smokey Reddick stopping Wade Hine on a breakaway back at the old Crush Camp.
Yeah.
Before I heard that level, that decibel level of just like what you got that night at the Bell Center, and you don't usually get that kind of a noise in a 20,000 seat building like you do in those old 3,000 seat rinks that there's no space. But man, oh man. Lou, we're going to open things up on the last segment here. Anybody wants to ask Fan Lou a question? Ask Peter whatever you want. The last 6 minutes are yours to ask Peter whatever question you want. When we come back, you're watching The Rod Pedersen Show. Kelly Rempel, Peter Labardius. We'll be back in a couple minutes, folks. Ask Lou. That's what we're calling it. Ask Lou.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time. Big time.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio.
Kelly Rempel and Peter Sweet Lou. Peter Labardius joining us from Mississauga. He's riding shotgun with me, has been over the last couple of shows. Let's go out. We got Peter Saragali from Estevan. We miss you, Lou. We miss you, the Estevan folks.
Right back at you. I miss it too. And they're holding a big hockey event there next year, the Centennial Cup, and I have every intention to get back. And a shout out to my dear friend Tony, who's just opened ice cream shop down there. Specialized ice cream. If you're in the area, go see him. You won't be disappointed.
Maybe the best pizza on the planet. They're at the Tower. Oh. There's a lot of great pizzas.
There's a lot of good pizza, but it's right up
That's
there.
a good one. That's a good one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adam Schultz, your thoughts on Eichel going to the Flames? We'll try to get kind of more of a rapid fire.
Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of it would depend on Eichel himself. Would it shock me? No, it's going to take a lot. And when it takes a lot, then you have to think about what you give up and how many holes you're creating. But it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
My buddy Sean Chapman, of an old Riverview colleague of mine, he says,
he's a good one.
You're in a bind and you need a tag team partner. Bad News Allen or the Great Gamma? Who you going with, Lou?
I'm going with the Great Gamma because Bad News Allen scared the living daylights out of me. I could never team up with that guy.
If I were going to pick, I would go with Bad News because I'd literally be able to kind of just sit there and watch him go through 15 guys.
I get that part, but the other guys, he scared me too much.
This is kind of a two-parter. Kevin Olenek. Hi, Lou. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Calgary Flames faced a similar fate back in 2000. I think he's saying 19. Now I got to switch cameras. Now on the verge of winning their second straight. The other no playoffs. It cut it off, so I'm going to have to... Oh, there you go. What is the difference between the two teams, Peter, that you can see?
This year's Flames and the Lightning? Is that what we're asking?
It didn't make sense to me because the Flames didn't win. Sorry. My screen cut off, so I couldn't really read the whole thing. I think he's talking about this year's 2019 Lightning and the 2020 Lightning. I'm not exactly sure what the question is. Right. How do you compare the two teams real quick?
You know what? I just think all the experience that they went through, including that huge disappointment a couple of years ago when they won 60 games, were swept by Columbus. I think, Julien Brisebois made some great ads when he went out and addressed, some grittier guys in Coleman and Barclay Goodrow and Patty Maroon. They're a great team. They're a great team.
Combining a couple of questions here, Lou. Gino asked, Lou, give the people names that they should keep their eye on for the NHL draft that maybe aren't on people's radar. Is there some names out there, Peter, of some real good hockey players that maybe just aren't being talked about? Or for that matter, Lou, guys that are being talked about? What should we look for at the draft this year?
Well, it's a fascinating draft, Kel, just because, everybody's starting to hear about Owen Power. But the difference between a lot of key guys in this draft, there's kind of, for me, a 1 to 15 and then 15 down. But this is one of those drafts, and don't have enough time to truly get into it. A name to look out for. It's a hard question. There's lots of really, really good players. And this is a draft. You might get somebody at 20 that is as good as somebody that you get at 8 or 9.
On the Prairie Mobile text line, What is the favorite place? This is going to be a tough one for you, Peter. What is your favorite place you ever worked? And you've worked in a few different markets. Is there a favorite?
You know what? I can't really. They're so different. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I can't. I don't really have an answer. It's an awesome question. I don't, because all the places I've worked have been so special in so many different ways for so many different reasons.
Well, I'm going to pick up on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult because it's an awkward question because then you have to actually answer the question. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But you told me one time that people would naturally assume that just because you're in the NHL or just because you're in Toronto or just because you're in Calgary, that you would automatically enjoy it more because the stakes are perceived to be higher than you would if you were in an Estevan or Regina. But that's not necessarily always true, is it, Peter?
No, it's not. And here's how I would answer it in all sincerity. My 4 years when I started in Estevan, Saskatchewan, Kel, paved the way for everything that I've been able to accomplish. And there's no ands, ifs, or buts. I went there when I was 18, left when I was 22. It's hard for me not to think about the 6 years that I spent in Regina because the people, the things I got to do, like beyond special. So, those 10 years in particular, even though I've gone on to be in bigger cities and have more high profile jobs, Kelly, I wouldn't change those 10 years for any of the rest of them. That's how special those 2 stops were for me.
I feel like we should probably kind of stop the questions there. I think that's a great way to go out, Peter. You mean a lot. I agree. You mean a lot to a lot of people in these parts. I think that even you may be surprised at what kind of a local legend that you are here. Like, I think sometimes people throw that around like, he's a local legend or he's a legend, and it gets watered down a little bit. And I know you're not buying it, but I'm telling you, and it's not just because we're good friends, as we got about a minute left.
Yeah.
But you had quite an impact here, my friend. Don't undersell that. I mean, people still talk about your old Pats days and the Western Hockey League. The Western Hockey League is in your blood, man. And that's what people love around these parts of Regina. So, you've had a great run in the NHL and junior hockey across the country. But right here in Saskatchewan, 30 seconds or less, what do you got?
Kel, I'm born and raised in Saskatchewan. I spent a great deal of my life there. I've met some of the most amazing people, still have family. It just makes me smile. I loved all my time there. And, if I made any kind of impact, awesome. But the experiences that I've had and the people that I've met, I wouldn't replace it for 1 second. It's been incredible, and it's been an honor and a privilege to grow up in a great province and be able to do the things that I've been able to do.
Fantastic. Peter, it has been so much fun over the last couple of shows. We did Wednesday, we did today. Hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did. We got to run. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. Sayonara.
I don't know. This is not an online therapy session whatsoever.